Start with the Broncos. Walsh, Arthurs, Staggs, Farnworth, Cobbo, Mam and Reynolds, Flegler, Walters, Haas, Catewell, Ricky and Carrigan, the bench. There it is, still the same. Let's have a look at the Warriors team. Coming off that great win against the Newcastle Knights, and they remain the same. Klukstar, Wateni, Zalesniak, Berry, Pompey, Montoya, Martin, Johnson and their pack. Fanua Blake in great form, as is Egan, Barnett, Ford, Niokore and Harris. The bench also remains the same. This is set to be an absolute blockbuster. And we've got the two veteran halves, arguably in the best form that they've ever been in, almost the best two halves of the competition at the moment. Reynolds taking on Johnson. This sets up to be an epic battle.
Oh, it's great, mate. You've got two backlines that are just full of strike. You've got two really tough forward packs and you've got halfbacks who, at the age of, 33 respectively, are playing in the forms of their life. So Sean Johnson came back from a calf injury. We're talking about Jerome's. He came back from a calf injury last week, and the way that he started that game, it was phenomenal. And then first up for the Broncos, Reynolds was nearly 10 out of 10 in their first up victory. So, yeah, that's just a great game. I think the Warriors, Andrew Webster said it, they learned a lot in that first loss to the Panthers. They were left at the gates that day. They played timid. And then the way that they responded last week, it showed that they'd learned from their mistakes. I don't think we'll see the same Warriors team as we saw in week 1 going up to Brisbane.
Yeah. Oh, look, I know we've waxed lyrical about Sean Johnson, but I don't think we can underestimate how far he's come. Like, this time 12 months ago, the Warriors were preparing to sit down with Sean Johnson and to talk to him about retiring. And here he is, to the point, guys, to the point. Here's the greatest indication that the Warriors didn't believe that they'd be going around with Sean Johnson next year. They've signed, in their halves, at that footy club, they have Chanel Harris-Tavita coming back from an early retirement. He's coming back. They've got Tamaree Martin, Ronald Volkman, Luke Metcalf, and now Sean. There's 5 halves, which indicates how far down the road the Warriors were of not having Sean Johnson at the footy club. To the point where they're going to have to offload one next year. You just can't have 5 halves at your club. It's a remarkable turnaround in form and undeniably the reason why the Warriors are here where they are.
Are the Warriors a genuine chance in this game? We just spoke about Melbourne up against Penrith. Are they a genuine chance of winning this one? I think you're a fan, aren't you, Crawls?
Oh, look, and that's no insult to the Broncos, because I truly think the Broncos deserve to be favourites in this game, and they've got a wonderful, wonderful team. But what the Warriors do have is they have a great pack. They have a crafty hooker. They have an experienced playmaker. They have a back three that are so courageous and fearless. Like Nickel Klokstad's, you know, he's running 200 metres a game. Those two wingers, they're in the form of their lives. Like, they've got the game to upset the Broncos. Will they? I don't know. I think it's going to be a great contest.
I think Ezra Mam will have to have the game of his career. And I say that because of Adam Fanua Blake, the way he picks off the 5/8s close to the line. For a big man, his footwork, we saw he got the better of Tyson Gamble last week. He got the better of Matt Moylan, early this season. He loves picking off the 5/8s. And Ezra Mam, for largely a rookie, his biggest game of his career, he'll need the biggest game of his career, because he's going to have that big bopper coming at him all night.
Yeah, hopefully the Warriors can ride this wave of confidence, and the whole of New Zealand are behind them, and they could have the Dally M Coach of the Year and also the Dally M Player of the Year. That's pretty special, the way that Johnson and Webster have both performed in their roles this season.
Oh, look, it's hard to see a serious challenger for Johnson not getting the Dally M medal, because you go through it. Reece Walsh he can't get the award because he got his suspension. I think Ponga will finish with like a house on fire. He would have had to have got close to 3 points out of 8 of those games that the Knights won on the run home. Daly Cherry Evans is probably a person that may figure in the contest, but Dylan Edwards is another, but maybe other Panthers. I think Payne Haas, again, but there's so many Broncos that are going to take the points off him. I just think Johnson's the clear standout. And Dave, you spoke about it before, like, your early memories of Sean Johnson was 2011 when he just exploded onto the scene as, this absolutely brilliant individual player. We never thought he'd develop into the team manager that he is today.
That's been an amazing turnaround. And as a half yourself, like, How does he get to that level so quick, or has it always been there?
Listen, it's the maturity of Sean. Like the last sort of few years, because he lost that fleet-footed, you know, the footwork was better than everyone else. Like he had the best footwork in the game, other than maybe Benji, and he had the ball skill, and he had the speed and the agility, and he'd beat defenders at will. But he always struggled with his game management because game management and the Warriors didn't go hand in hand. That's what probably held the Warriors back from semi-finals and grand finals, is that you need that player to take and own the team. And he's found that. And he's found it through, when you get older, you get more experience, right? And you don't have that footwork and that speed, so you've got to look to other strengths and you've got to look to other ways to manipulating oppositions. And he's just grown and he's flourished, and he's made every player around him even better, which is a great sign of a great player.
You know, it wasn't that many years ago when he was playing test football with Benji, and remember Benji used to say he wanted to run the team and Sean, you just go out and play your game. And even then we thought this would never happen, but it's just been remarkable. I didn't think he could do what he did this year.
And another player that's been remarkable and come from nowhere really has been Wade Egan. You think Dave's a chance of Hooker of the Year?
Yeah, and it's come off comments, and the story's currently up online on the Telly website. Comments from CEO of the Warriors, Cameron George, obviously a huge supporter of his own hooker, but declaring that he is a genuine contender, not a smoky, a genuine contender for Dally M Hooker of the Year. And on the surface, you go, well, hang on a sec, he's flying under the radar a bit. But if you drill down and actually consider all the different dummy halves in the comp and where they're at, I would make a case that he is going the best in the comp. His control...
Right now, you're right.
His control... we talk about Sean Johnson. It's all happens from Wade Egan at dummy half, and you think about Harry Grant. Yeah, he's always having a good season. It's not a barnstormer, but
Cook's been in.
Cook's in and out.
Appy had a great year for the Tigers. I think he's a standout, Wade Egan. I think he's been the most consistent hooker of the season. Harry's been hot and cold. Appy played in a losing team, and you know, Damien was the same.
What's going to hurt Egan is the fact that Johnson would have polled most of the points. You know, nearly every time the Warriors have won, Egan may have got one, maybe two, but Johnson would have got those three, so that probably hurts him. And
potentially.
Harry Grant's still had a really good season now, still on Wade Egan. You thought he was robbed the other night of a try.
I did. I hate that rule. It's the worst rule in rugby league, that where the referee sends it up as a no try when he doesn't have an unobstructed view, and then you know, the bunker has to find a way to try and overturn this. When you look at the front on replay here, I'll ask you guys, when that went over, he sends it up as a no try, so the bunker has to find clear evidence that it's touched the ground. Gordon,
Which they should.
But did you think, on probability, if this was sent up as a try, does that get awarded a try? Like for mine, I reckon you could poll 100 people and they would say that ball has touched the ground.
You'd probably find another 100 that say that.
But the problem with the
50-50.
rule, and we saw it the week earlier with Cameron McInnes, when he had a try disallowed, like at some point that ball's touched the ground. But because the bunker can't find clear evidence, they're going on a referee's guesswork.
But isn't that better? If
probability surely better.
Probability.
The probability. Well, if you send that up to the bunker without the ref making a call either way, then it's going to go for the try in that instance, for sure.
I reckon the referee had a pretty good view of it, and he said, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's no try.
So what do you think?
There's no
Did you
evidence.
think it was a try?
Well, watching it live, I thought he's got to get that down, and watching the replay, I don't think that he did.
Gordy, why can't he say...
But if I'm a Warriors fan, I go, oh, come on, he's got to touch a blade of grass. But if I'm a Knights fan, I'm going, there's 3 Knights guys in the picture, they must have held him up.
If he's not 100% sure, why is he having a verdict before sending it up?
He has not got a view of that ball. No way in the world has he got a view of that ball. The bunker, if it has all the available angles, surely that's a better way to make a determination if it's a try or not. Surely.
It's happening way too often.
There's been a few lately. There was one...
Do you guys have a multi?
No.
Okay. So I'm just wondering, they did win the game, you know.
It was the same the week earlier, mate, when McInnes got over the line. And see, my problem is that he's guessing. The referee in this instant is completely guessing. He was guessing in that one because he couldn't see. He's had his view clouded by Manu there, and he didn't get a fair look. So why are you making him guess?
Well, because the referee for the last 100 years, if he doesn't see the ball on the
100
ground...
years ago, mate, we didn't have the bunker. We
But
didn't have all these
in the
different
last 100 years,
camera angles.
if he didn't see the ball on the ground, it was a no try. So if he doesn't see the ball on the ground, he goes, I have a no
tell
try.
you what, for 100
so he's helping
years-
the guys
100
up,
years they would have
just
called
in
that a bloody
case
try.
they don't have the right camera angles.
They're
I don't have a
finding ways
problem with it.
not to allow these tries.
Well,
And they're so crucial. I'll tell you now, if either of these ones happens in the last few minutes of a grand final and it decides a match, I'll bet you they'll change the rule. But they've let it go for too long this year.